Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Gonna be giving you my player ratings from our 2-1 win against Fulham yesterday night. So David De Gea, gonna give him a 7 out of 10. He produced a fantastic save to deny Ruben Loftus-Cheek. But apart from that, didn't really have much to do. And like I've mentioned before, David De Gea is getting back to his best. A few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. And he's going to remain our number one for at least this season. This is his 10th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant. So 7 out of 10 for him. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. To be honest with you, he had a bit of a shaky start, made some wayward passes, did play Lookman onside for the goal. But apart from that, he did well, grew into the game, did well defensively and got forward well at times. Eric Bay, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he made some good blocks in the game, made some very, very good interceptions. And since Bay started playing again, he has done very, very well. Like I've said, my only element of concern about him is that he's injury prone. I certainly prefer Bay to Victor Lindelof. But Bay nearly scored an own goal from that shot from Mitrovic. I think it was towards the end of the game. Harry Maguire, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought defensively he did very, very well. Harry Maguire has really, really rejuvenated himself. And I think he also showed that ability to play out from the back at times. Luke Shaw, I'm going to give him a 8 out of 10. I thought he also enjoyed a very good game, just like he did against Liverpool recently. I thought defensively he did well. I thought he got forward well. He put some good crosses into the box. And Luke Shaw is really, really improving. Like I said, my only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. He still remains our first choice left back, despite Alex Telles coming in. Paul Pogba, he's going to get a 9 out of 10. Paul Pogba enjoyed a very, very good game. Paul Pogba scored a fantastic goal. He hit it with his left foot. It went into the bottom far corner. He was around 20 yards out. And I thought Paul Pogba's movement was good as well. He was dominant. His energy levels were good. And to his credit, since he come back from that ankle injury that he had earlier on in the season, his performances have been very, very good. Paul Pogba could still leave Man United in the summer. Like I updated you yesterday, Duncan Castles said that Paul Pogba's trying to set up a summer move away from Man United with his recent performances, and Fabrizio Romano recently said that Paul Pogba will leave Man United in the summer providing that an agreement is reached. We want around 75 million. Paul Pogba has had a long running transfer saga, but there's a possibility chance he could stay at the football club. Like Solskjaer said earlier on in the season, he can be convinced to stay at the club if the club win trophies. As far as I'm aware, at the moment, there has been no talks over getting him a long-term contract, but earlier on in the season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract on Man United till June 2022. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for Paul Pogba. Fred, I'm going to give him a 8 out of 10. I thought Fred was very competitive and very tenacious. I thought he got forward well, helped out his teammates, played a part in the first goal as well. Lovely interplay with Bruno Fernandes. Fred has really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Bruno Fernandes, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. He enjoyed a very good game. Bruno Fernandes obviously put the cross in. That led to Cavani's equaliser. Bruno Fernandes was unlucky not to get his name on the score sheet because he did have chances. He hit the post. He also had a shot that produced a good save from Areola. Good to see him put a good performance out because recently Bruno Fernandes hasn't been that good, has he? Solskjaer did say prior to this game that, he was defending Bruno Fernandes and he denies that he needs a rest. But we've got to give him a rest at some point because we have overplayed him. In most of Bruno Fernandes' games at Man United, he has been very consistent. There's only been the odd few where he has been inconsistent. I think he's been at the club now, is it a year? Or it's almost a year. Don't forget he got voted Player of the Month for December, reflecting on his good performances, but he has won that now quite a few times. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for him. Anthony Martial, now I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I think Anthony Martial had half a chance in the game, but Martial, he's just not being clinical enough, is he? He's not converting his chances. And I think he has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. I think he has only had a couple of good games. Mason Greenwood, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he looked lively, got forward well at times. Haven't really had much of a perception on Mason Greenwood this season because he hasn't really played a lot. I expect him to play more than he has done. Solskjaer's been defending him a lot this season. Don't forget earlier on in the season, he had personal issues. He was out of injury at one point and he was out with illness. This is his second season in our senior squad. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for him. And Edinson Cavani, I'm going to give him a 8 out of 10. He enjoyed a very good game. Edinson Cavani obviously got our equaliser. Came from a goalkeeping howler from Areola. Cavani should have had another goal because I think he had a good chance, was it in the second half? And his movement in and around the box was very good. Cavani has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Solskjaer was talking about him earlier on this season, saying that, Edinson Cavani is definitely a starter. He said we are already looking to extend his contract, and Solskjaer revealed the first thing that Cavani asked him when he came in, and that's whether he could wear the number 7 shirt. And not so long ago he was serving a 3-match suspension because he put a racist comment on social media last month, and Solskjaer did confirm that Edinson Cavani had apologised and all of that. We did bring some substitutions on in the game, like I mentioned. We brought Marcus Rashford on. Can't really give him a rating, to be honest with you, because he came on late, didn't he? Matic, can't really give him a rating. He came on late. And McTominay, he also came on late as well. So can't really give them ratings. So that is your player ratings from our 2-1 win against Fulham. Like I said on my match reaction, we started the game slow. Fulham started well. They was on the front foot. Lookman, I think, was probably one of Fulham's best players. Like I said, he scored their first goal. Had quite a few shots in the game. I definitely think Ruben Loftus-Cheek was Fulham's best player in that second half. But yeah, anyway, the win puts us back top of the Premier League. We are now unbeaten in our last 17 Premier League away games. We have equalled our record from the 1998-99 season. We can break the record if we do beat Arsenal at the end of this month. So we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year now. But we knew this was going to be a tough game against Fulham. We knew it wasn't going to be a walk in the park because Fulham have done quite well recently. Prior to this game, they'd only lost one of their last 7. And Fulham have seemed to have improved since they got that 1-1 draw with Liverpool back in early December. Fulham are currently sitting 18th in the Premier League. They're probably going to go back down. They are relegation fodder. Fulham have not beaten us though for 11 years. But Solskjaer spoke about Fulham in his press conference prior to the game, and he did say Fulham are well structured. He says Scott Parker's a good head coach, and he mentioned that they have made good signings. But Solskjaer said that we've mentally improved. And he says we are physically robust. He's also praised Paul Pogba for his very, very good performance he put out. He says Paul Pogba can give everything. We're in a very, very good position now. We can win the Premier League this season. But there again, City can win the Premier League, Liverpool can win it, Leicester can win it, Tottenham can win it, maybe even Everton can win it. So there is quite a few teams in the race. Solskjaer in recent weeks has been playing mind games. Don't forget he did say prior to the game against Burnley that we must stay humble and not think we've cracked it if we go top. He did say after our 1-0 win against Wolves earlier on in the season that we're not in the title races yet. But he said if we are still challenging at the top in March, he'll start to believe that we are in the title race. Now, if we did win the Premier League this season, that would be a remarkable achievement. And then certainly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be the long-term manager for Man United. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. But like I said, if we don't win it this season, we'll win another title at some point. Now, I've heard things coming out saying we've got to, prove ourselves against the big teams if we are to be genuine title contenders. Now, obviously, we can't beat the big teams under Solskjaer. That's been proven so far this season because, we haven't beaten Tottenham, didn't beat Leicester, didn't beat Chelsea, didn't beat City, didn't beat Arsenal and also didn't beat Liverpool. But that might not matter, but we did beat a few of the big teams last season. There's 3 trophies that we can pursue this season. We can win the Premier League, we can win the FA Cup, and we can also win the Europa League. It's very imperative that we get our first trophy on the board under Solskjaer. We haven't won a trophy now for just over 4 years. I said to you what would represent a good season this season for Man United, and that would be to finish in the top 4, the top 3 and win a trophy. But obviously it'd be magnificent if we did win the Premier League. But we have got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot of credit. With the progress he has made in the last year or so. Obviously, performances have improved. Certain players have improved, which is very good to see. We deserve credit for sticking with Solskjaer because he could have easily been sacked as Manchester United manager. We have endured bad periods under him. And, Solskjaer's decision making now is starting to improve. In games at Man United, he showed tactical flexibility, but there's also been a lot of games where he has been tactically naive. And I did say, didn't I, that's one of my biggest concerns about Solskjaer. A lot of United fans are now starting to believe that Solskjaer is the long-term manager for Man United. But a lot of United fans have been very, very critical of him in the 2 years or so he's been here, especially earlier on in the season. A lot of our fans were demanding him out, and even I was demanding him out. Of how inconsistent we was, but with how good we have been in recent months, we've slowly started to change our perception on him. Solskjaer is going to be given at least another season at Man United. I think he's on course now to earn himself a new contract. I think this is also what Gary Neville believes. This is his second full season at the moment. Maybe he's still got to say there's a few things he's got to learn. Maybe he needs to start playing Donny van de Beek more. Donny van de Beek, again, didn't play any part yesterday. I actually thought Donny van de Beek would have been given a chance against Fulham. Maybe Solskjaer needs to identify his best 11. Solskjaer's tried quite a few different formations as well since he got appointed in as Man United manager. Do you think he knows his best formation? But Solskjaer's gained some managerial experience, reflecting now on he's been at the club. He's been Man United manager now for over 2 years, and Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. But I've honestly got to say, he has learnt quite a bit on the job since he got appointed in. Despite our reluctance to back Solskjaer, I still think he has made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million at the club. I also like the way he has promoted the youth, because when he came in he said, the young players would get their opportunities, and the young players have been given their opportunities. But there again, he said everybody would get their opportunities to express themselves, and Solskjaer has obviously brought more young players in. He did give us an update on Amad Traore in the press conference prior to this game, and he was asked how he's settled in and that, and he has been training well, and Solskjaer said that Amad Traore could be part of the first team squad in the next few weeks' time. And I presume that Facundo Pellistri will get his opportunities in the first team. He's recently had COVID. We've also seen a lot of players leave the club since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in now. We recently saw Timothy Fosu-Mensah leave the club. He joined by Leverkusen. We've also seen players like Lukaku and Ander Herrera leave. We saw Sanchez leave. Seen Angel Gomez leave. Seen Darmian leave. Seen Smalling leave. Seen Young leave. Seen Valencia leave. We've also loaned quite a few players out as well. Don't forget we loaned Diego Dalot out to AC Milan. We loaned Andres Pereira out to Lazio. I think it said we're looking to get rid of them on permanent transfers. We loaned Levitt out, but obviously his loan got terminated with Charlton. We loaned James Garner out. We also loaned Tahith Chong out. We loaned Joe Pereira out again for another season. I think there's a few other youngsters we've loaned out as well. Don't forget, earlier on this month, Solskjaer gave us an update on our January transfer plans. And he did say that January signings are unlikely, but he admits there could be further more departures this month. I think he said one or two more players could be leaving. He said that in a press conference prior to the game against Fulham. You know, he has confirmed that Romero and Rojo are free to leave in this window because their contracts won't be extended. Jesse Lingard's been linked to a move away from the club. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's in a tug of war over the midfielder's future, because apparently I think Solskjaer said he wants Lingard to stay for this month despite him losing the place in his team a while ago. Phil Jones, will he leave this month? Agallo should be leaving because his loan expires at the end of this month. Agallo seldom plays now. You know, there has been rumours of Daniel James going out on loan a few times because he's lost his place in the team. And earlier on this month, there was rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan because Brandon Williams is now our third choice left back following the arrival of Alex Telles. But yeah, this January transfer window, Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as Man United manager, like I said. Solskjaer says our fine form is justice from the club support. So what it means in that aspect is that, you know, the backing he's received recently, you know, has played a part in our good vein of form. Because Woodward promised that he'll back Solskjaer. And he's assured quite a few times that Solskjaer's job is safe, even when Solskjaer, you know, was under pressure at the club. But like I've said, our board have got a soft stance on him, and our board said towards the end of last year that they will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. I think we're looking to make around 4 signings this year to complete our squad overhaul. But Sky Sports said yesterday that Solskjaer says signings are long-term, not a quick fix. So yeah, in this window, we're obviously focusing on more of the outgoings, aren't we? So obviously we'll be looking to make signings in the summer. I think a few more players are going to leave Man United in the summer. You know the news on Juan Mata. He's closing in on a Man United exit after Solskjaer's admission recently. Matic could leave in the summer, and like I said, Paul Pogba could still leave in the summer. Like I said to you, there has been a lot of players on our agenda. You already know the news on Erling Haaland. Man United want to sign him in the summer. Erling Haaland's father, Alvin Haaland, has recently spoken about, you know, the Man United links. We wanted Haaland back in 2019. Obviously, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a move to Man United. But obviously, at that time, we had no Champions League football to offer. So that's probably the main explanation why he didn't come in. But Solskjaer would love to sign him now because Solskjaer knows the player well, because Solskjaer was the one that gave him his debut at the age of 16 at Mulder. The Athletic recently said that Chelsea are looking to get him early because Chelsea are in trouble at the moment. But Haaland's been at Dortmund over the year now. You know, Dortmund paid just over £17 million for him. He's got a contract with Dortmund till 2024. We're probably expecting him to leave next year when his £68 million release clause does become active. You know, if you were to get Haaland this year, he's going to cost you from between 90 to £100 million because he has been a revelation at Dortmund. He's a striker, and I think Man United need a striker. I said to you yesterday, didn't I, the three areas where we need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, a world-class midfielder, and I think we need a centre-half. You know the news, obviously, on Jadon Sancho. There has been reports saying that Jadon Sancho could join Man United this month. That was stemming from Raphael Hoggenstein, who's a German football expert, but it's unlikely he'll leave Dortmund this month. Negotiations could resume in spring, but we believe we can get him for less than £100 million this year. If Sancho leaves, it will be in the summer. France Football via Sports Witness said not so long ago that Borussia Dortmund are looking for the replacements for him, and apparently they've identified their replacement. And I think Jadon Sancho wants to leave Dortmund. He did make an admission earlier on this season saying that he's enjoyed a difficult season with Dortmund, but he's happy to be back among the goals. Last summer, he was our number one priority target. But Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million, and we was not willing to meet that valuation. I think it said back in September we put a bid in of just over 91 million, but Dortmund rejected that because they wanted around £110 million. Well, it was from 108 to 110 million. You already know the news on Declan Rice. You know the news on Sergio Ramos as well. You know the news on Dayot Upamecano. He's available for around £39 million at the end of the season. So, there you go. But when Solskjaer got appointed in as Man United manager, I said he was inheriting a lot of deadwood. You know, he's still inheriting some of the deadwood now. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's. There's still a few players here from the Van Gaal era. There's only one player here from the Moyes era, and there's only two players here now from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've brought around 36, 37 players in since Ferguson left, and we've spent over £1 billion since Ferguson left. So people say anyway, reflects on the money we've spent, you know, we should be top, which we are. But always spending big doesn't mean you're going to be successful, does it? But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's been in the old Man United back, you know, with the progress he has made. And we have come from behind in a lot of games this season, especially away from home. And we used to do that quite a lot under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Putting the stats into circulation now, you can say Solskjaer is the best manager since Ferguson. Certainly a much better manager than Moyes was. But yeah, you know, despite his being good under Solskjaer, you know, he's obviously not going to replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy. And he's not going to last as long as Ferguson did. No manager in general is. You know, Ferguson enjoyed 27 years at the club, won a total of 38 major honours, but, you know, Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. So it does take some managers time to settle in. You know, it took Jurgen Klopp time to settle in at Liverpool, didn't it? So there you go. And yet, like I said, our next game is Liverpool in the FA Cup 4th round on Sunday. It is a shame that we didn't beat Liverpool at Anfield at the weekend because we would have been in much more of a commanding position than we're in now. You know, if we'd have beaten Liverpool at the weekend, we'd have been 6 points clear of them. Solskjaer gave his perception on that game and he said he was disappointed because it was a missed opportunity, but he admits we lacked composure. We did very, very well defensively against Liverpool at Anfield. We had more clear-cut chances than them. You know, Bruno Fernandes had a good chance. Paul Pogba had a fantastic chance. Paul Pogba should have scored that goal, but he made up for that anyway, you know, with a superb goal yesterday night against Fulham to win the game. We know we haven't won at Anfield since 2016, but Anfield is a fortress in the Premier League because Liverpool have not lost at Anfield in the Premier League since 2017. So I think they're unbeaten in 68 Premier League games now at Anfield. Don't forget, you know, Jurgen Klopp criticised Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics. obviously Jurgen Klopp wasn't happy the way Solskjaer set up his team. It was only a few weeks ago he was moaning about the amount of penalties that we get. So yeah. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.